What's up, guys? It's Casualgamerreed. Now I'd like to take a look at the upcoming season for the Lakers. They have the big acquisition, Steve Nash, Dwight Howard. And a lot of people are like, you know, the Lakers, they're for real. They're back. They're gonna contend in the Western Conference. Gasol, you know, they got a great starting lineup, all this stuff. And I'm gonna be frank, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The Lakers are the third best team in the Western Conference, maybe the fourth best team. But they're for sure the third best team. I still put the Thunder and I still put the Spurs over the Lakers. I still believe in those two teams. I think those teams are superior to the Lakers. And I just do not see any way they can win the West. Kobe Bryant is not the same player he was. You can get on there and you can say he is, all this stuff. He's not. He's not the same player. He's having more trouble with injuries now as he's gotten older. His foot still gives him trouble. Has given him trouble in the preseason and all this stuff. And I'm just not a believer in him. I believe he's lost 2 steps. He's lost 2 steps. He can still score a lot of points and all this, but he's just not the same player he was 5 years ago or even 3 years ago. He's not the same player. Steve Nash, still a great point guard, but he cannot defend anybody. He cannot defend anybody. I mean, realistically, anybody can go around Steve Nash. I could go around Steve Nash. But he's still a great player. You know, he's still a great point guard. But he's got back trouble, and he's not gonna be able to guard somebody like a Chris Paul, a Tony Parker. You know, he's not gonna be able to guard anybody like that. He's gonna be a defensive liability. And the Lakers, if they want to just jump up and if they want to just be able to try to outscore their teams, I don't know, outscore their opponents. But Dwight Howard, he is gonna help with the defense. So even though people will go around Steve Nash and all this, you're gonna have Dwight Howard back there helping. But Dwight Howard is a liability at offense. I know he scores over 20 points a game and all this, but he's a liability at the free throw line. He's worse than Shaq. And I just don't believe I believe the Lakers are fakers. They will not come out of the Western Conference. I see them getting beat maybe in the Western Conference Finals. They may get that far. They'll be lucky to get that far. They may get that far, I don't know. But I'm just not a believer in the Lakers, folks. And even if some miracle happens and the Lakers somehow get to the finals, and that's going to be a big if, in my opinion. I mean, the Lakers are so overrated. They're so overrated. They really are. They have as good a chance as Boston does. And there's people on here that's going to believe Boston has a chance to beat the Heat. Nobody's going to beat the Heat. Just like nobody's going to beat the Thunder or the Spurs. Nobody's going to beat the Heat. Okay, the Heat have it in the East. The Thunder have it in the West. And if by some miracle injury happens, here's the only way the Lakers can win the NBA title. Tim Duncan gets injured. Okay, Tim Duncan gets hurt. The Spurs are out of it. Or Tony Parker or Ginobili. Okay, Thunder. Durant gets injured. Westbrook gets injured. Ibaka, somebody like that. I mean, then after all that, then the miracle has to happen where the Lakers are going to have to stay healthy. Then, before all that happens, we're going to have the Heat, somebody on their team, Wade or James or Bosh, get injured. I mean, there's too much going against the Lakers. They're just too old, and they're not what everybody's making them out to be. I'm sorry. You take Kobe Bryant and Steve Nash and take off 4 or 5 years and put them on this team with Dwight Howard, then you've got a dynasty. But it's not going to happen. They're too old. They're worn out. They're like the whore on the corner. They're wore out. They're worn out. It's over. The Lakers will not win. They will not even come out of the Western Conference. They're not going to come out of the Western Conference. The Lakers are fakers, and I'm telling you like it is. This comes from somebody who knows what he's talking about. Nobody has more NBA knowledge than me. Nobody. Nobody. So you can come on here, you can make all these bad comments about calling me a redneck and all this crap. Go right ahead. But that's not going to change the fact. You can look back at this video come playoff time when you get beat, in the summertime, when you get beat, when the season's over, you can look back and say, that guy was right. And that's what you will say. Lakers are fakers. Peace out. The Lakers are fakers, and I'm telling you like it is. This comes from somebody who knows what he's talking about.